This week on the Retirement Quick Tips podcast, I'm answering your questions. Today, I'm addressing a question that came up recently with a client, which is, I'm retiring in 2 years. Should I start Social Security at retirement or should I wait a little bit longer? Now, in this particular circumstance, it's a married couple. The husband is the higher earner and he's also a bit older. So there's a 3-year age gap between them. And I ran the numbers a variety of different ways. Do we start at retirement for both of them? Because they're both going to retire around the same time in a couple of years. Do we have the higher earner, the husband? Do we have him wait as long as possible until age 70? Do we have both of them wait as long as possible? Maybe they both take their Social Security at their full retirement age at 67. There are, especially for married couples, there's a ton of different combinations that you could do. Do I take it, at retirement, sometime after retirement? Now, here's the problem with this situation. And I think a very common issue is that many people, and these clients included, they're going to retire before they're eligible for Medicare at 65. So they have a couple years where, if you retire at 62, 63, you have 2-3 years, maybe longer, where you're paying pretty high premiums on your health insurance because you are not yet covered by Medicare. For most people, it's going to be like double the cost. So if you're married and you're looking at maybe $10,000 a year in healthcare related spending, all in premiums, out of pocket costs, everything. If you retire prior to Medicare, you're looking at double that typically. So what I found in this situation, and again, this isn't a blanket recommendation, it's just what I found was ideal in their scenario as it applies to them. And that is that the wife, who's the lower earner and also slightly younger, she will start Social Security at age 63. This is about a year after she actually retires. The husband, the higher earner, he's going to start Social Security at 68, which is a couple more years after that. So why this recommendation? Well, we want to maximize his Social Security as the higher earner. So a lot of times for married couples, when you run the numbers, it makes sense for the higher income earner to wait a little bit longer. Now, you could wait till 70, but in their case, I don't recommend that because they're, especially for paying for those higher health insurance costs in the early years of retirement. And if he waits until 70, that's like 5 or 6 years in their retirement where they're relying on their investment portfolio to fill that gap. Now, they actually will have a pension, but it's basically Social Security, one pension income, and investment portfolio withdrawals for the 3 legs of the stool for income and retirement. And so if they delay Social Security, especially if he delays Social Security for too much longer, then what it does is it puts way too much stress on their portfolio to plug that gap to make sure that they can do the things that they want to do, live the lifestyle they want in retirement, travel, things like that. They wouldn't be able to do those things because their portfolio just cannot sustain that withdrawal, the higher withdrawal rate. So the 63-68 combo did result in higher withdrawals in early retirement from their investments, but only for a couple of years. So they were taking like 7-8% out in the first couple of years, which is fine because after that, he'll be able to delay Social Security and lock in that higher monthly income, especially because he's male and he's older. The chances that he will die first are pretty good. And so we want to also lock in his higher income stream, which will transfer to his surviving spouse. So you have to kind of think long-term about this too, but it locks in a higher income stream for both of them by waiting a little bit to start Social Security a year, 2, 3 years into retirement without putting undue pressure on their portfolio. And this resulted in the best outcome in maximizing their enjoyment of their early years in retirement, still maintaining a higher spending level without putting undue pressure on their portfolio to fill that gap for more than a couple of years. All right, that's it for today. Thank you so much for listening. My name is Ashley Michike, and this is the Retirement Quick Tips Podcast.